We're thundering towards the MotoAmerica AMA FIM North American Road Race Championship. This round is MotoAmerica Superbikes at Texas. It's our 10th anniversary season and our 8th round of 9 for 2024 at Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas, as we have Mission King of the Baggers, race number 1 on deck. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast, and welcome to the broadcast booth. I'm Greg White, standing alongside two-time national champ Jason Pridmore. Now, Jason, this season is coming to a close. Only 4 races remain in an 18-race championship, and there's only 14 points between number 1 and number 2 in this championship.
Yeah, and it's taken a lot to get there. We've seen Troy Herfoss mount this big challenge, but it's been Kyle Wyman right now that's going to walk into Dakota here with the championship lead. As you can see, our former champion Kyle Wyman here has had a really good year on his factory Harley-Davidson. The challenge has come from that Indian challenger of Troy Herfoss. Wyman right now walks into here as you see him winning at Laguna Seca with a 14-point lead. Now, at the last race, Greg, we had a race that was disrupted due to a little bit of weather. Troy Herfoss ends up finishing second and didn't look happy about it. As he comes in here to Dakota, he's hoping to switch that momentum back to his side with a couple rounds left to go.
So we know it's between Wyman and Herfoss, but when you look at it, who are the wild cards in this one? Well, for Kyle Wyman, he has Rispoli as a teammate. He's going to get help there. Tyler O'Hara is another one for Herfoss. And then you got to throw in the Vance and Hines Harley-Davidson team of Hayden Gillum and Rocco Landers. Are they out for their own race results, or are they going to help Harley-Davidson? Boy, it is an X factor here with these 4 riders, and anything is possible. But, Jay, when we look at Circuit of the Americas, it's a very challenging racetrack.
It has, and they've made some more improvements here at Circuit of the Americas with some repaving, and the riders seem to be loving it. It's turn 1, very tight, sharp turn that you can't see the apex of as you tip in. Then you have this run through the S's all the way down that fast hill, turn 10, into another hairpin, turn 11, getting these bikes up to top speed before they brake hard again for turn 12 in through a stadium section. Turns 17 and 18, Greg, look nice and smooth this year as they flow into 19. Turn 20 is going to be your last opportunity to really make a pass before a short run to the finish line.
And it is going to be an awesome race. And how about this young man, Rocco Landers? 5 of the last 6, he's been on the podium without a win. Can he get it done? We'll find out.
Staying with you here at Circuit of the Americas for Mission King of the Baggers, race number 1. Roger, during qualifying, Troy Herfoss able to put himself on that pole position. He's already won a race earlier today. It was the Mission Super Hooligans of their first race of the weekend. It seems that he has figured something out today.
Yeah, and you see James Rispoli, a couple crashes this weekend. Looks like he's having some bike issues. They're pushing it off the grid, so he's definitely not going to take his grid spot. But for Troy, he's got all the momentum right now. I'm interested to see what Rocco can do. He's been on the front row a couple times. If he's going to be able to fight for a win, he can turn that front row start into a good start and come out at turn 1 with the leaders.
Yeah, Rocco Landers certainly carrying some momentum with him right now. 5 podiums this season, 4 of them in a row. Let's go ahead and send it back over to Greg and Jason.
Mission King of the Baggers coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series, by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps, and by Drag Specialties, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket parts and accessories for Harley-Davidson, Indian, and custom V-twin motorcycles.
Circuit of the Americas, Mission King of the Baggers, race number 1. Getting ready to get underway in this long racetrack. Well, I'll tell you what, man, these things hustle around Circuit of the Americas, Jay, because we've talked about the length of the straightaways here, but really you're on the edge of the tire going through the S's, and it gives a good handling motorcycle an opportunity to win a race here.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And you look at how fast Troy Herfoss had a 2:13.7. And, yeah, crazy. And it looks like we lost Max Flinders earlier, and this is a bummer as well. As we see, they're having trouble with the 43 of James Rispoli's bike. Something's not happening there. They're going to wheel him back. That's a shame. That's a shame. And, for Kyle Wyman, that's a teammate that could potentially get involved in the points championship or help him. And it looks like for Rispoli, they're walking that bike back, and yeah, that's too bad. See if he got out.
Yeah, I mean, he could if he does. He's going to start. Is that him at pit lane, pit out?
He's going to, yep, he's going to start from pit lane. So
okay.
He's not going to get his warm-up lap. That's where he's going to have to start. All the riders are going to be coming back around. As we get a look here, Greg, at the starting grid.
This is the way they qualified anyway. It's Herfoss, O'Hara, and Landers on the front row.
Then we have Gillum, Kyle Wyman, and Rispoli was supposed to take that spot. But obviously, well, Bobby Fong Flinders, who is also a scratch from this, Jake Lewis, Travis Wyman, and Corey West. Max had a big crash this morning, and I think he's sitting this one out. So didn't see him, don't see him on our screen, rather, as far as who's listed to actually take part in the race. So, yeah, Max, just hope he's okay. We saw him try to suit up earlier and did a warm-up lap and pulled in another race. So
my guess is what they'll do, Jay, is let the field go through and exit turn number 1 before they're going to get Rispoli and release him from the pit out area.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what the protocol. I know he's got to get out before the car goes, right? So there's a car, you see that blue car there behind with medical team in there just in case it's needed, and I think that they'll let the riders go, and then they'll probably let James get out in front of that car as well.
6 laps scheduled still for Mission King of the Baggers race number 1, our first of 2 for the weekend. And you can see the new asphalt laid down from our overhead shot as the sun is beating down on this racetrack. And once the red lights go on and off, we're gonna go racing. Revs are up. Here we go.
Wow. Good start from Tyler O'Hara. Good start from Kyle Wyman on the second row. He's already up to third. He's trying to get by Herfoss, and he does. For a brief second there, he gets by Kyle Wyman into second. Look like O'Hara leads. Wow, look at, is it Gillum or Rocco that just turned up underneath everybody in turn 2? It might be Rocco Landers in second place, or is it Gillum? It looked like O'Hara just had a problem.
Look at Rocco Landers.
So it's Rocco Landers who does a tremendous job getting through turn 1. There's James. You see the cars right behind him. So to your point, Greg, they probably waited for these guys to get up to turn 1. So it's Rocco Landers leading. Tyler O'Hara second. Herfoss having to look up underneath Wyman. He's going to make that pass. So the 2 championship points guys are going back and forth there for third. And Rocco Landers trying to play a little bit of spoiler, as is O'Hara. Looks like Gillum in 5th.
So the Revzilla Motul, Vance and Hines, Harley Davidson, and 97 of Rocco Landers. Look at Rocco trying to get that motorcycle downshifted. There's a lot of English in his right wrist. As Landers onto the back straightaway, he'll pull the trigger on that Harley Davidson road glide. And man, he comes off that corner really well.
Yeah, and he's just hungry for one of these race wins. For Terry Vance, this would be really cool to see. You know, he gave this kid a chance this year at the beginning of the year. He's riding 2 different classes for that Vance and Hines team. His Twins Cup leading the points in that. And at the beginning of the year, he really struggled getting the hang of this big bagger, and he's just continued to try to get better. Now, this is interesting. The 2 teammates kind of going back and forth here. Herfoss wants to get through, as you see Rocco get extremely sideways there.
Wow.
So Rocco just really riding this big bagger hard at the moment. But he's had pace all weekend, Greg. He's had a really, really good pace. The guy in third right now, Troy Herfoss, he went 13.7, like I said. That is so fast on these bikes around here. As you can see, it looks like O'Hara runs a little bit wide. Wyman's still there in 4th. Hayden Gillum just off the back in 5th, and I believe it's Bobby Fong there as well.
Dunlop tires, slicks, where the rubber meets the road. So important here in motorcycle road racing. It's the defining factor. And of course, Rocco Landers out on the edge of the paint and just letting that motorcycle move around. Now let's get to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Hannah Lopez. Kyle Wyman goes into 3rd place. Hannah?
Well, Greg, as you mentioned, Rocco Landers is really eager to get the win. He's really come into his own on this motorcycle. We've seen him make steady progress throughout the weekend. I asked him about being potentially able to interrupt this championship's points chase, and there's still too much racing left, but Rocco's so eager to get that win. He said, I'm not going to go out of my way to do anything to disrupt that, but if I can beat both of them, I'm going to do it. So he is exactly where he wants to be right now.
Yeah, it's a great spot to be in. You can see Tyler O'Hara racing Kyle Wyman pretty hard up there into turn 1, and he wants to do everything he can to put himself in between his teammate Troy Herfoss. As you can see, Rocco using a lot of body English as that bike gets sideways. It also looks like Gillum may have got by Kyle Wyman as well. So for Kyle Wyman right now, this isn't good. He sees Herfoss up the road, and Wyman has now been passed by both of, well, he has not got past O'Hara just yet, but Gillum has gone through now on the 2nd of the Vance and Hines Harley Davidsons. Wyman's going to try to draft by him as they go down this back straightaway. He needs to get up and take a shot at Tyler O'Hara and try to minimize the amount of points that he loses here.
Good slingshot draft and pass by the 33. Coming off the back straightaway, trying to get these motorcycles slowed down as now the 17 of Herfoss looks like he's starting to chase down Rocco Landers. Hey, fans of MotoAmerica can pick their favorite riders for a chance to win money. Available on your favorite sportbook and daily fantasy sites like DraftKings, Underdog Fantasy. Visit nxtbets.com/playma for exclusive sign-up bonuses for new players and receive bonus cash. Available in legal states. Check nxtbets.com/playma to see where you can play in your state.
Yeah, so you start to look at this now, you start looking at points, and it's, you got to think that Herfoss is going to get up there and battle with Rocco Landers and try to get this maximum point total that he can get those 25 points. With a 14-point lead, you start looking at that, and for Wyman, this is a super important race, and he's getting pushed from behind. O'Hara, like I said, trying to be a good teammate on that 29 and beat the factory Harley-Davidson, and this is where a guy like Rispoli could have come into play and been up there battling as well, trying to help out.
Let's get to Hannah.
Troy Herfoss started the season so incredibly strong. Midway through the season, we saw him struggling a little bit more, and things seemed to be on the up. He had his Australian Superbike crew chief return with him to Ohio, and they were able to try a lot of different things and really make some progress, but it also really got him to start off on the right foot here this weekend as well, and they were able to build on that progress, so he is really comfortable, and it's so helpful to have that crew chief here who can communicate between all the different moving parts and who works on that motorcycle so that Troy can just rest and focus on what he needs to do.
Yeah, and for Herfoss, the first 9 races of the season, Jason, were all podiums, in that he had 4 wins, did the 17 on that factory Indian Challenger, the S&S Indian motorcycle. Talking about that guy right there, Australian Troy Herfoss.
Yeah, and if you saw, he had that thing sideways at the top of the hill. Nice little power slide. He gets into here a little deep. Rocco has a long look behind his shoulders, and he's going to get a big look at the number 17 coming after him. Rocco's on a fast lap. He's gone quickest first split of the race, his personal quickest second split of the race. But the speed difference, there's a 5-mile-an-hour speed difference between that Indian Challenger factory bike of Troy Herfoss over Rocco Landers as they went down the back straightaway there. So Rocco's really depending on all these little sections right here. All of the tight, twisty stuff is where Rocco's trying to do his damage, and Herfoss is doing the exact same. I mean, he's just closing in, closing. Look how straight line Herfoss takes this little area here, and he's up on the back now of Rocco Landers.
Second time this season that Mission King of the Baggers has graced the Circuit of the Americas. Of course, support race for MotoGP earlier in the season. But for Rocco Landers, it was a really rough start in his first go at it, and then something started to click for the young man, and things have been so good for him as of late. He really is starting to figure out how to ride this bike as it moves around. One of the most talented young riders we have in the MotoAmerica paddock.
I almost feel like that's the next thing for Rocco to really conquer, is trying to make it to where the bike isn't moving around quite so much. I know he likes it, and I know he's got tremendous bike control, but it makes for a long, hard race when the bike is moving as much as it is underneath him. If you look at Herfoss, his bike hardly even moves at all. When you watch Kyle Wyman on his day, it's the same thing. This young man will continue to learn. He'll continue to evolve as you get a good look at Terry Vance and all of his crew that have done a good job of really competing against the factory Harley-Davidson teams. And for Rocco, look, he's so fast through this S section, and he pulls away a little bit because Troy was right up behind him at the end of the 3rd and 4th segments. Rocco's doing his damage all through here. Now once they go through this right, it's a great camera shot as they go through this next left. Watch both these guys get these things lit up and sideways on the exit here.
Yeah, if you're new to MotoAmerica racing, no on-bike communication. Is Rocco getting a little bit wide? And so really, other than a look over your shoulder, you're only going to know as Rocco sends it sideways. That's not the fast way into that corner as Herfoss just turning it. But the only way to really know, he wasn't deep, but he's controlled it, is to get your pit board. There's a pit board signaling area, and they'll give the rider from the team information about what's going on the racetrack. But with 2-minute and 14-second lap times, it can be a lot of things can happen by the time you get to your pit board.
Yeah, and you can see if you look at how much Rocco's bike's dancing around up underneath him, and Herfoss is just kind of following him in. And where that really comes into play is late in the race, as the tires start to get a little bit more used. You have to wait for that bike to calm down a little bit before you can just throw it in on its side. And all through this little section here, again, this is Rocco getting down into turn 10. Look at his bike moving around. Herfoss gets his bike just a little sideways, but Herfoss is going to miss his mark here a little bit. He ran just a little bit wide on the exit there of turn 10.
So for Rocco Landers, He still controls his pace, but Troy Herfoss has done the fastest lap of the race on lap number 3 at a 2:14.346, and Rocco with 2:14.875. As we come into the final corner of Circuit of the Americas, Landers now on the gas, trying to control that wheel spin. No electronics on these bikes like you see on Steel Commander Super Bikes, and Landers at 2:15.1 and Troy Herfoss at 2:15 flat. Kyle Wyman back there in 4th place goes 2:15.1, his fastest lap of the race, as he's still trying to track down Tyler O'Hara and get some of those points back. So for Kyle Wyman, he's back there in 4th place. The difference in points, 13 points to 16. So if he can get around O'Hara, that's going to be 3-point swing.
He really needs Rocco to win this race to take that extra crucial 5 points away from Troy, but I know Troy is going to be pushing on, trying to get past the 97. And, you know, I think, Greg, the later the race that Troy passes, it might be a benefit. It's going to give Rocco less opportunity to look at where he might be a little bit weaker or where Rocco could possibly take a shot. But I'm going to tell you right now, when this kid sees the white flag, he's going to be so amped up to try to get this win that it's going to be very difficult for Troy to do much with him. He's going to have to be close enough down into this section, I believe, in order to maybe try to draft past Rocco. So that's what, but Troy really looks like he's struggling to me in that turn 10 area. Not quite like how he would like to get through there, and you can see that gap. That's the gap that is too hard to close down now, but if he can be close enough on the exit there on the last lap, he might be able to do something with him.
The speed difference on the back straightaway, 157 to 161, advantage Indian Motorcycles of the 17 of Troy Herfoss, and he's able to close up on the brakes after that long straightaway coming off the back section of the racetrack. Tyler O'Hara, Kyle Wyman still back there battling it up, and here they come through our speed shot, and now a couple bike lengths between the two. Oh, look at Rocco really steering the rear end of his Revzilla Motul Vance & Hines Harley Davidson, trying to get the thing turned in the direction he wants to go. Troy Herfoss looks a lot more planted at this point in the race.
Yeah, but the thing is that where Rocco's good is through those S's, and it's very difficult to pass in and around this place. Right now, Troy Herfoss, I don't believe, will take any huge unnecessary risks. It's only a 14-point gap in the championship. As long as he's finishing ahead of Kyle, that's what he's going to need. So we've heard him say at the beginning of the year, Rocco's an ambitious young man, I believe, and it's still on Rocco's front fairing. Let's see if Troy Herfoss, he's going to have a go, Greg, up into turn 1.
Full send it for Troy Herfoss. He's going to get a turn. Rocco sees it, and he goes up the inside. Gives him room, has a look over his shoulder. Is Troy going to have position? Rocco doesn't care. Yeah. He's got his first win sitting right out in front of him, and Rocco Landers is going to push as hard as he can for his Revzilla Motul Vance & Hines Harley Davidson team. So advantage goes to Rocco Landers.
Yeah, but this is where Troy has actually been able to keep that gap a little bit closer as they come through here. He knew that Rocco's fast in this first part of the track, and so he has to try to stay as close as he can. And going up over this hill, this next hill is going to be key. He's going to have to get through turn 10 cleaner than I've seen him do all race long. See how much gap Rocco's pulled away in this first sector? And that is going to be the key. If Rocco goes on to win this race, that is where Troy will try to get himself better tomorrow. As you see, he's trying to get in there close, and he's made another mistake in turn 10, and that's the race right there, Greg.
But Rocco Landers doesn't know that. He thinks that Herfoss is on him. He may hear him behind it. I talked to Rocco if he wears earplugs when he races, and he definitely does. For a rider like you, Jay, who doesn't, you can hear a little bit more, but Rocco needs those earplugs to control what goes on around him, and off the back straightaway they come. Herfoss able to make up another couple bike lengths.
He's going to have two places where he can try to take a shot if he can get close enough. The next one will be in the next left-hander that they go. The thing is Troy takes a very tight line down through this section. I think Rocco's got just too much of a gap here. You can see he wants to have a look. He's not quite close enough. The next place is going to be after the long right. Now, historically, when you look at Rocco through these big long turns like this, he's been so good from Junior Cup to Twins Cup to Super Sport. And look at the gap that he's continuing to pull away. Herfoss now knows he's got to settle for second, get these points, and come back and fight another day tomorrow. Rocco Landers has done a really great job here.
So for Herfoss, trying to gather 20 points, get a couple back from Kyle Wyman, who's on the back of Tyler O'Hara. But here we go, onto the front straightaway. 97, Rocco Landers will take the checkered flag in his first Mission King of the Baggers victory. What a run for Rocco Landers and his team.
A battle for third went to Tyler O'Hara. Tyler O'Hara ends up third over Kyle Wyman and Hayden Gillum.
So for Tyler O'Hara, he does the job he was supposed to do and put himself between Herfoss and Wyman. Even though it's .013 the difference, Kyle almost had it but didn't quite get it done. That 3 points difference that O'Hara was able to force Kyle back could be the big difference. Oh, for Rocco Landers, now he gets to celebrate. And obviously, Troy Herfoss likes this young man a lot. We're going to hear from Rocco after this. You don't want to miss that interview when we get back to Circuit of the Americas.
Back with you here at Circuit of the Americas, where the cool down lap, the celebration lap for Rocco Landers, continuing first win in Mission King of the Baggers, Roger.
Yeah, and he did it. Great start and great first lap. He didn't put himself in a hole, and not only that, Rocco has shown good pace all weekend, practice and qualifying, and was able to translate that into the race. And you know, he was pushed the whole race, but he never made a mistake. Troy made a couple efforts, and Rocco was able to fight right back. We've seen this win coming from Rocco for the last couple races, and this weekend he's finally to put it all together and get that win.
He said it after the first qualifying session that the whole team has really been behind him all year and getting him more and more comfortable on the bike. It is 6 podiums now, but 5 in a row for Rocco to get this first win.
Yeah, and it's been really cool to see Rocco after he struggled early on in the year, and then finally when it clicked for him and the way he's been making strides toward the front, and he's been the most consistent guy, really one of the most consistent guys the last couple races, a podium guy, and we'll see how many more of these races that he might be able to win before this season's over.
There are still 3 races remaining in the Mission King of the Baggers Championship, with Rocco Landers taking first place points today and Troy Herfoss being able to finish second, with Kyle Wyman, our championship points leader, down in 4th. That gap has certainly closed, and this one's going to go all the way down to the championship round.
Yeah, and we thought Rocco was happy when he got on the podium that time. I can only imagine what this interview is going to be after him getting this win.
That first podium came back at Brainerd for Rocco Landers, and you're right, he celebrated it as if he had won the race. Today he actually did. He's going to make his way over to the team where he'll get to celebrate with Terry Vance and all of the crew and really to soak this one in.
Mission King of the Baggers coverage is brought to you by Dunlop, the official tire of the MotoAmerica Championship Series, by Mission Foods, the world's leading brand for tortillas and wraps, and by Drag Specialties, an industry-leading distributor of aftermarket parts and accessories for Harley-Davidson, Indian, and custom V-twin motorcycles.
Looking at the results from Mission King of the Baggers, race number 1 here, MotoAmerica Superbikes at Texas. It's Rocco Landers who wins by 1.3 seconds over Troy Herfoss and Tyler O'Hara, Kyle Wyman, and Hayden Gillum in 5th place. And for Rocco Landers, he gets to come into victory lane and enjoy the celebration of that race. And he is going to look back on this one, and he's going to really enjoy what racecraft. So let's get to Hannah, who's now got Rocco Landers ready to roll.
All right, taking a second to get these gloves and helmet off this guy. Huge victory, one that you've been working so hard toward all season. I know you got to get back on track. We'll keep it short. You led this race from start to finish. It was yours. How'd you get it done?
Dude, oh my God. I don't even have any words. That was crazy. What a race. I mean, I got a decent start, but kind of took advantage of a couple people getting together there, and it played out to my advantage, but my God, this is such a cool win. My whole team's worked so hard. I mean, Terry, Quentin, Craig, Steve, Matt, my buddy Aaron and his girl Elizabeth are here. My mom, my brother are here. Everybody, shout out to my pet hamster at home. This is awesome.
All right, Rocco's got a long list of people to thank and a race to get to, guys, but today's Bagger race winner.
Well, that's great. The pet hamster gets a shout out. You got to love that, as Troy Herfoss with a 2nd place finish. And I believe he's right down with Hannah.
2nd place today for Troy Herfoss. You made a move there on Rocco, and I don't know if it played out how you were expecting him to fight back, but how do you determine
how to proceed after that.
Look, it's hard to race someone that wants it so bad. There has to be a point in the year where I've got to race for something, right? And but in saying that, I wanted to beat Rocco really badly. I felt as though there was an area on the track where I was better than him, but due to some circumstances, I couldn't make any momentum on him. So I hope that's resolved. And for tomorrow, hey, thanks to Mission Foods, Indian Motorcycles, 2 on the podium. Tyler's back. Just when I absolutely need him, he's here for me. So I want to say thank you to him, and thank you to the team. And look at them; they work tirelessly for me. And they're always so motivated. No matter how down in the dumps, I come back to the garage, 10 minutes later, I'm ready to go. So big thank you to them, and let's go for tomorrow.
Congrats, Troy. Guys.
Yeah, what a great interview. And, of course, got to thank your teammate. That was a good couple of points that this guy was able to get for his teammates. Let's get down to Hannah.
3rd place for Tyler O'Hara, just by a hair, but very crucial. Your teammate thanked you. How important was it for you to perform well this weekend?
Yeah, I had a mistake earlier today and gave some points up. So, you know, big hats off to my whole team, SNS Cycle, Indian Motorcycle, backed by Progressive. Shout out to Mission Foods, everybody that supports us. I mean, for me, I've been working my butt off. This is a tough class. It's highly competitive, and to get a podium out here at COTA, it's very special. I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I've just been working my butt off, like I said. And man, I can't give it up to this whole team. Everybody that supports us, everybody at SNS Cycles, all the engineers, everybody that supports us. Thank you so much. 60 helmets, Alpine Stars. That was a barn burner, and I was starting to make some mistakes there. Halfway through, the tire was really going off, and I was trying to manage the race, and I got sucked into 11 a little bit deep there, and then those guys were on me right away, and we rode hard, clean race. Me, Kyle, and Hayden were going at it, and hats off to those guys. They rode awesome. Hats off to Rocco. He got his first win. He's been really riding really good this weekend, so hats off to him. Everybody that supports me back home, everyone I train with, and all you great fans for sticking out here in the heat. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Tyler O'Hara rounding out your Mission King of the Baggers podium.
Great run for him. Good to see him back on the podium. We'll be back with more Mission King of the Baggers from COTA after this.
Staying with you on MotoAmerica Live Plus. You see Rocco Landers, the empty number 97 spot right there. It's great to see his mom, Jamie, back out here at the racetrack. And for Rocco, he has to go get ready for what could be a championship defining moment for him in the Twins Cup. That championship wrapping up here this weekend. 2 races to go. Rocco leading the championship over there, getting his first Mission King of the Baggers win at just 19 years old. He sits 4th on the AMA all-time win list with 53 wins.
Yeah, a lot of wins, and it's a little sad seeing him not able to get on the podium and really soak that win in after as hard as he rode and put together such a great race. But I think Rocco will take it any way he can get it. Now he's got to focus on the Twins Cup, try to get some fluid in him, and try to cool down a little bit.
It's great to see the respect that he has from the other competitors as well. You heard Troy Herfoss say there that it's hard to race somebody that wants it so bad. I don't know what issue it was that Troy was referring to that he had.
Yeah, something was going on. I don't know if it was setup or something with the bike, but where he felt strong, he wasn't able to maximize what he thought he could do to make a pass. So I'm sure they'll get that fixed before tomorrow.
It's been a great day for that SNS Cycles, the Indian Motorsports organization, with riders in both of the Hooligans and Mission King of the Baggers. Let's go back over to Greg and Jason.
All right, so here's a look at those points. Kyle Wyman leads now by 7 points over Troy Herfoss. There's only 75 points left in this championship for the rest of the season. That means Hayden Gillum did not defend his #1 plate, but he will be a factor, as Rocco Landers will be as well. Wow, what a race we had, and congratulations to the Revzilla Motul Vance Nines Harley-Davidson team on another win. I think they have like 11 in drag racing this season. Well, that'll do it for Hannah and Jason and I. We hope you enjoyed it. We'll do it again tomorrow for race 2, Mission King of the Baggers from COTA.
So proud